Right, so hello again, my name is Carrie Morse. I'm the Adult Services Coordinator for the Else for Autism Foundation. I started out as a special education teacher in Broward for 9 years, where I primarily worked with students in a self-contained community-based vocational and independent living transition program. After that, I worked for 5 years with the Dan Marino Foundation as a program director and a case manager of the STEPS program, which is that was an after-school program and a summer supportive job training program for young adults that were transitioning out of high school. I also helped launch Dan Marino Foundation's Marino Campus. For those of you that haven't heard about Marino Campus, it's a private post-secondary school in Fort Lauderdale offering vocational certifications to young adults with disabilities. And in the meantime, I've been working towards my doctorate degree in exceptional student education. Yay, FAU. I saw a few of you are in programs at FAU. And have taught a few classes in the department and served as a university supervisor for a group of ESE practicum students. So most of you typed in your roles. Thank you very much. We have some visitors from South Africa. Welcome. And then we have quite a few either teachers or young professionals that either started out in the field, or I do have some. Tomas, for example, mentioned that he works at a job coaching type position at an agency. So I'm hoping that all of you will find use out of this presentation, and please don't hesitate to enter in information or questions into the chat box. I will, try and look over there once in a while. So welcome. So today we're going to talk about enhancing independent task performance of individuals, specifically with developmental disabilities, through the use of an application on an iPad. We're going to learn what is the rationale for using assistive technology, and you may want to use it with your classroom, a group, a therapeutic group, or at home. We're also going to review how today's technology has a universal design for learning, and we're going to call that UDL. I'd like to think about how you can use video-based interventions with your students, clients, or family members, and specifically how, after you learn about it, how you can use the Picture Scheduler app on an iPad or an iPhone. I'll refer to a study throughout that I'm conducting as part of my dissertation. I'm working with a group of teens and young adults. They are working on vocational and independent living tasks. And although I may refer to this intervention as being used with adults in vocational settings specifically, you'll see that this intervention can really be used for individuals of all ages across settings. Sorry, Tommaso, Career Resource Specialist. Thank you. Okay, so we know everyone loves using iPads, but why should we use them in vocational settings? So it's important while we're thinking about that to measure 4 outcomes. First, we want to make sure that our students are performing their job up to industry standards. That's really important for the employers. In the workplace, you have a job description that gives you an outline of required tasks. Your employer is expecting the tasks to be completed, adhering to industry standards. Some tasks may have a very specific protocol in the way that they're performed, and some tasks can be completed in different ways as long as they're complete. For example, when you go to Subway, the employees are trained to build a sandwich in a certain order. So they maybe do the bread, the meat, the vegetables, and then the condiments. I'm not sure, I haven't eaten in Subway in a while. But we're going to talk today about another task that is like Subway. It's very process and order specific. Second, young adults with disabilities need support to learn a job, and then sometimes need support to keep that job. Job coaches, employment specialists, or career resource specialists, it's our job to make sure that we work with the new employees to help them learn both the hard skills and the soft skills. So let's see if we can use an iPad to reduce the prompting needed from that individual, that job coach or therapist, and it will in turn, help the employee be successful with their self-determination, and it'll also lower costs for the agency so that we could serve more individuals. Third, we don't want our students and clients to learn a task for a limited time. We want them to maintain the skill. So can we train them to use an iPad app and then they'll continue to use it independently? And lastly, once we teach them how to use that iPad for stocking shelves, let's say in the paint department at Home Depot, can we load new videos into the app and ask them to stock shelves in, let's say, the garden department? So that's generalization. So what is the rationale for using assistive technology, or AT? So we're first going to take a look at how assistive technology increases self-determination and self-esteem. It makes them feel good. I'm sure that you've seen how using technology, specifically devices like iPads, it levels the playing field for children and young adults with disabilities, and there's been a lot out about that. Our students and clients feel proud that they could use this technology in order to accomplish the same task that they see their friends or their coworkers doing. Does anybody have a story or a short comment about how a student or client used assistive technology for communication? If you do, share something in the chat box. No one? Yes, so using your iPhone to take photos of the various tasks to remind a client so they can use it as a reference. Excellent. And this is very similar. This is just going to increase that with videos and using a specific app. So thank you for sharing. Jen has an idea. A Velcro board that had pictures of various objects to tell us what you wanted. So a communication board, that's awesome, yes. And so we're going to talk about assistive technology and how maybe an iPhone might be high tech, but then pictures can be low tech. So thank you guys for sharing, I appreciate that. So imagine if you went to work every day and you had to bring your mom with you in order to do your job. How would you feel? How would your coworkers treat you? Would your coworkers invite you to happy hour or take you to lunch? You'd probably start to feel pretty isolated. So assistive technology can help employers and coworkers view their employees as one of the group. So back in the day when special education teachers and therapists talked about assistive technology, the first things that used to come to mind were those clunky devices, like the Dinobox boxes and things that are really clunky and very special eddy, so to speak. And then in order to use it, you'd have to have an assistive technology instructor specialist come to the school, and they'd only come like once every 2 weeks. So today we could use iPads for a lot of assistive technology, and it only costs a few $100s, smartphones even less, and the students really know how to use them, and it's, you know, sometimes the apps are even free. So this device that we're, you know, the iPad device is really can be used as an all-in-one assistive technology tool. So that's what's so great about it. And what child or adult doesn't want to use an iPad? Especially when you give them the option of using the iPad instead of receiving instruction from a teacher or a therapist. And we talked about how technology can lower the cost of a job coach. The problem with supporting young adults on the job is the expense. Although many job coaches are not getting paid what they should, you guys put in many hours on a job site working one-on-one to ensure that your client or student is successful. So let's say that you have a job coach to assist a client that just got a job at Home Depot. Think about all the hard skills that are needed. Think about the soft skills that are needed. How many hours would that take? So if you got paid, say, $20 an hour as a job coach, how much money does that cost the organization? If we can use that money, you know, and we instead, if we look at the money and we instead use an iPad to train those hard skills, we might be able to lower our costs and serve more clients, which sounds great for everyone. So So the definition of assistive technology, if you don't already know it, is any item, piece of equipment, or product system used to increase or maintain the functional capabilities of a person with a disability. So it makes sense that an iPad can be used as assistive technology, but there's so many tools that teachers and therapists use on a daily basis that fall under that AT umbrella. The next 3 slides, I'm going to include examples of those high, mid, and low-tech tools compiled by the Boston Public Schools Access Technology Center. Take a look at the list at each slide and find a tool that you might already use or consider using with one of your students or clients. So has anybody used any high-tech assistive technology items to benefit a student or client? I'll let you guys off the hook with high tech. Oh, Brianna, go ahead. Oh, connection is bad. Oh, sorry. Big keys. Awesome. Very good. While you guys are typing, let's look at the list of mid-tech assistive technology. Anybody use timers? I don't think we saw any behavior teachers or BCBAs in the room, but I'm sure timers are very popular. Good, thanks, Alex. Yes, on their phones, especially for young adults. It's very motivating. Great. Let's look at the low tech. So things just like finger grips. Where's my OT? I think it was Krista. Lots of Velcro, yes. Oh, great, yes, listing the tasks. Oh, touch screens, yes, awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. You got it, Shani. Thank you. Assistive technology. So historically, it's not always been used when needed due to a number of barriers. For example, in 1998, Michael Waymeyer, who's a leader in special education, he's led the field with his research contribution in self-determination specifically. He collaborated with ARC to conduct a national survey in the use of technology. He and his team found that many people with disabilities were not using assistive technology, but they could benefit if they did. And the respondents shared issues with the complexity in operation, the cost, a limited market for devices designed for cognitive impairment. So, for example, there's only one company offering the device. A lack of knowledge about the availability of specific devices, especially before consumers could research all the products available on the internet. The lack of training for users and support individuals, and lastly, but maybe most importantly, the negative stigma surrounding most products. So you can think about your experience with assistive technology devices and how they may have had those limitations, but hopefully things are changing. So in order to eliminate these barriers, there's now a focus on universal design for learning. According to the Center on Disability and Community Inclusion at the University of Vermont, UDL is defined as a methodology to help meet the challenge of diversity. So instructional delivery and materials need to be flexible across users. The simplicity and the flexibility must be incorporated into the original design of the product. That's really important. It lowers the cost of the product and increases consumer productivity for a larger number of users. When we think of a flexible and user-friendly technology, which multi-billion-dollar company comes to your mind? Give you a hint. Whoops. Apple, yes. Good job, Jen and Shelley, awesome. So I actually found an article here. I'll send you guys the link to this presentation, but this is a great article about Apple and 6 reasons why Apple is successful, and that has a lot to do with it. So children at a very young age become pros with using technology. Our culture has flooded their brains with media as one of the largest modalities for learning. And YouTube is the world's most popular online video site, with users watching 4 billion hours worth of video each month, uploading 72 hours of video each minute. The next slide will play a video. Well, actually, I'm going to figure out a way to play you guys a video to demonstrate how millions of people, both children and adults, have accessed YouTube as a video-based learning tool. So right now you should be seeing my screen, and I'm going to show you. Okay, sorry about that. I'm a little rusty with switching back and forth. So, those of you that guessed, that's Watch Me, Whip Nay Nay. I don't know the dance that well, but I'm sure I could learn it if I watched that video enough, and I'm sure all of our children know that dance by watching YouTube. So that's just one example of video modeling and how our young adults and children are so infused by watching videos, on YouTube to learn. In addition to video modeling, video-based interventions can also include video feedback, interactive video instruction, and video self-modeling. These examples of video-based intervention have been shown to standardize training. It removes the human element when you watch a video. Students have also demonstrated faster skill acquisition when they watch videos and generalization of skills to untrained settings. So video-based interventions have been widely used to improve social interactions, language and communication, functional skills, and compliant behaviors. Now let's take a look at how video-based interventions have been used to increase task performance within employment settings. Using technology to reduce staff support time and increase worker independence has been a focus of research since the Technology-Related Assistance for Individuals with Disabilities Act of 1988. That's a mouthful. As I mentioned before, technology has become more portable, less expensive, and less obtrusive, becoming a viable option for all persons with disabilities in the workplace. With the increase in technology, more research investigating its applicability for people with disabilities has followed. Now we're going to talk about some investigations where they've used technology for that purpose. In 2 investigations, an IBM PC-110 portable palm-top computer was used to increase task completion and decrease latency response for 6 adults working in a warehouse. So they built a box around a computer, it was called a Vicade system, to provide a user-friendly visual prompting device along with a tactile prompting system. The system included a radio communication system and a single large key used to advance each task. Each task was represented by a hand-drawn image on the screen, along with a corresponding pre-recorded audio message. In addition to the Vicade system, 2 loudspeakers were set up, and the participants wore a smaller speaker device with headphones, along with a vibrating portable pager worn on the belt or the pocket. While results of this study demonstrated that computer-aided systems were efficient in enabling participants to perform work tasks with a high degree of accuracy, that system wasn't portable, it was obtrusive when it was used in the workplace, it required intensive setup and support time, like building that system, creating the drawings, scanning the drawings into the computer, setting up the audio system and vibrating pager system. Later, from 2002 to 2005, Davies and colleagues field tested different software programs using palm-top computers. Digital pictures of job tasks were taken with a with a camera, sequenced and linked with audio cues on a desktop computer, and downloaded onto the palm-top computer. Palm-top computers were portable, and they were commercially available, yet the software programs were specifically designed for people with disabilities. So setup time was required to take the photos, load them into a computer with audio clips, and then program them into the portable device. Later in 2007 and 2009, Van Laarhoven and colleagues used a video iPod and a commercially available video editing software, it was called Pinnacle Studio, to increase independent work performance on an animal shelter. In this study, video files were captured with a digital video camera, edited using the Pinnacle software, and uploaded to playlists within iTunes. The study was first to use a portable device with a universally designed software. The study, however, still required setup time to video record movies, edit the movies into the clips, and download edited clips onto the device. So in summary, technology has advanced in 4 significant ways since the passage of that Technology-Related Assistance for Individuals with Disabilities Act of 1998. And it had a direct impact on the usability for people with disabilities. First, the cost of the device and the software have decreased due to the increase in commercially available products. 2, independent device navigation has increased due to simplicity of the user interfaces. 3, portability has become the standard in device design, like your iPads and your iPhones. 4, multimedia devices have enabled individuals to record, edit, and play media within the same device. So rather than using the camera to record photos, video, and audio, a desktop computer with software to edit the video clips, and a portable device to play the media, now devices are capable of performing all 3. So I'm going to introduce Picture Scheduler application. It's a task organizer application designed for people with disabilities, and it meets universal design standards that we talked about. The application is designed to be compatible with iPad, iPod Touch, and iPad devices. For only $2.99, users can create visual tasks with attached video, audio, and pictures and alarms. Alarms can be repeated either daily, weekly, or monthly. Tasks can be organized into categories such as work, school, and home, and then each category can be supplemented with an attached picture. Videos can be recorded and uploaded into the app within the same device. Users can send categories or tasks wirelessly to other devices using Wi-Fi capability. Let's take a look at a demonstration video, and please be patient with me here as I switch over. And make sure your volume is up all the way. It's a little bit low, but I'm sure you can see the video here.
to show you is called Picture Scheduler. The purpose of this app is to create task lists for your students and have them follow the list as shown. You can put in pictures or videos. So here's one example. Get cleaner. And once they've done the task, they can hit hide and go to the next step. Get paper towel. And again, hide. What's nice is that you can make a bunch of task lists and save them here under folder. I'm going to show you real quick how a video looks. To pour half the packet of lemonade into the container. Fill up the container with cold water. Put the lid on the lemonade. Put the lemonade in the refrigerator. And once the list is done, you can always get it back again by going back to your folder.
Okay.
Hello everybody, this is Scott Bradley from the website scottbradley.me.
Hold on 1 second.
And in this video,
Okay.
I'm going to share with you the 10 features that make Evernote math.
Sorry about that. All right. So we're back. Okay, so you watched the Picture Scheduler application. Sorry about the quality of that. That was on a YouTube video, and I didn't have one myself, so hopefully you could see how it's used. The app was originally created by a developer and a special education professor, Dr. Tony Van Laarhoven at Northern Illinois University, in collaboration with an app developer, Peter, and I'm going to murder his last name, so let's just call him Peter J. Together, their aim was to help people with disabilities organize and learn personal tasks. So I found this app to be the only age-appropriate app that allows adults and support individuals to upload their own media in order to complete tasks independently. In addition, the features of the app allows users to have both visual and auditory supports to complete a task. Let's take a look at one example of how Picture Scheduler can be used to increase task performance and independence. We asked 4 young adults to make smoothies using a Picture Scheduler application as part of my dissertation study. In this example, 4 smoothies were designed to each have 10 steps. Each step was recorded as a separate video that was 1 minute or less. Participants enjoyed using the app and showed an interest in completing the task in order to drink the smoothie or give the smoothie to a friend. Making a smoothie can either be categorized as a vocational or independent living skill, so I thought it was just a good example to get started. So let's think about how you can use Picture Scheduler in your classroom or your sessions. Think of a way to use the app in order to increase skill performance and independence while decreasing staffed prompts. So in your mind, as we walk through this, you're going to describe the task. Then you would list the steps required to complete the activity, which is called a task analysis. Then third, you would create a narrative for each step that would function as the verbal direction in each video. Does someone that hasn't answered yet have an idea of what you could use Picture Scheduler for? Something that you'd like to teach someone to do independently? Maybe think of a vocational or an independent living skill. There we go. Brianna and Amanda are typing. Making your bed. Yes. That's a good one, Shelley. Using a cash register, working in retail. Absolutely. Shani and Brianna had an idea. Reminder of job duties at Chili's. Awesome. So it's more of a task checklist. Taking stock in the back workroom. Yes. I love all of those ideas. Oh, 2 more ideas. Folding a fitted sheet. Yes, I would need that. That would be helpful. Washing dishes. Awesome. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Great ideas. So before we start using the picture scheduler for all those great ideas, we need to make sure that participants have certain skills. Participants need to understand how to navigate the iPad device. That goes without saying, right? In my experience, even those that didn't own an iPad, because I did a survey with them, they had no problem navigating the iPad. Second, you just want to make sure that those participants can identify all the materials used in the task. So if you're washing dishes, do they know what a sponge is? Do they know what dishwasher, what the soap is? Maybe if you're calling it a certain brand, you need to teach that. And third, you want to make sure that participants can physically perform the task, especially those with lifting or involving fine and gross motor skills. And in my study, that became apparent. I do have a young woman who has some fine and gross motor skills due to a physical disability. So I needed to make sure that any tasks involving opening containers or pouring heavy objects, I needed to make sure that those accommodations were there for her so that she could complete the task and her fine and gross motor skills didn't get in the way. Here's a brief explanation of how you can measure independent device navigation. So if you go through each navigation skill, you would mark the prompt for each task from independent all the way to a physical prompt. So you would use a system of least prompts, whether they're independent, so no prompting needed. They would use a verbal prompt, a gestural prompt, such as pointing, or a physical prompt, hand over hand. You want to make sure that they have that ability to use the iPad device from in the beginning of turning it on all the way through adjusting the volume, starting and stopping a video. And here is the data sheet that I used for my dissertation as one example. They're probably going to be pretty familiar with turning on and off a device. They may need more prompting in navigating the tasks within the app. With my experience, using the app itself obviously was unfamiliar. So opening the category menus, touching certain tasks, rewinding the video within that app might have been difficult for them, but adjusting the volume came pretty natural. When evaluating the materials you use in your task, you're going to create a list of the materials used, and then you need to ask the student to identify each item. So when we were making smoothies, the participants were asked, show me the cocoa powder. Many were not familiar with items like cocoa powder or oatmeal, so we needed multiple sessions in order for those participants to identify all of those items correctly. The last skill that you need to measure is their dexterity. Like we talked about the young woman that had troubles with her motor skills required to perform the task. Making smoothies specifically requires someone to twist those caps off milk or juice containers, carry heavy containers from the refrigerator to the counter, and utilizing 2 hands when pouring contents into a measuring cup. So it's important to create those accommodations like I mentioned with the materials if need so. So after you've completed a skill assessment, those 3 things, the independent device navigation, the materials identification, and dexterity, you're ready to start using the iPad with your student or client. In education, an intervention is a specific set of steps used with a student in order to address an area of need. In this scenario, the student needs to increase independent task performance. The intervention we'll discuss is using videos on an iPad to make a strawberry banana smoothie. Each step of the task has a corresponding picture and a video. When ready to begin, the teacher will say, I'm going to teach you how to make a smoothie following directions on an iPad. I want you to watch videos to learn how to complete each step. Watch each video very carefully and then try and complete the step exactly like me in the video. After you complete the first step, as the teacher points to the step on the iPad, you can go to watch the second video. Teacher points to the second step on the iPad and then complete the second step. Please complete all steps in order. Please pay play the first video and begin. Then the student will touch the video of the milk and a video will begin to play. On the next slide, you'll see a demonstration of the video for the first step, half cup milk. So I'm going to switch over and show you that milk video.
The step I'm going to show you is called
What?
Picture Scheduler.
Sorry,
The purpose of this app
wrong one. There we go. Place the blender cup and the blade set on the counter. Get the carton of milk from the refrigerator. Open the milk. Get the 1/2 measuring cup. Fill the measuring cup with milk. Make sure that you fill all the way up to the line where the color changes. Pour the milk into the blender cup. Okay, so you saw just the first video and you saw how it was under a minute long, and that's really important because we're expecting an individual to watch the video and then complete the task. So you want to make sure that whatever your video is, it's short enough so that they can memorize the sub-steps within that video. All right, so during intervention, it's important for the teacher or the therapist to collect data on task performance. Take a look at this sample data collection sheet. So this student is making a strawberry banana smoothie. Each step is listed on the left. Here you see the milk step, which is the first of the 8 steps that I used as part of a strawberry banana smoothie. The observer watches the student while they watch the milk video, and then they complete the step. The teacher first determines if a prompt was needed to watch the video. If a prompt was needed to begin, the watch video is checked here. The watch video remains unchecked if the teacher determines that the step was completed accurately. The teacher or therapist marks accurate if the student completes the step correctly. Or if they did not, the 2 errors are PE for process error, say the student uses the wrong measurement or makes a mistake, or NRE is non-responsive error if the student was non-responsive. If an error is made after the student watches the video once, then the student is blocked from continuing and asked to re-watch the video. If an error is made again, the teacher breaks the video down into smaller segments, and it's called Let's Try Together. The teacher will then ask the student to complete the smaller segments of the milk step. If the student continues to make an error, then the teacher will review smaller segments the last time. And then if the student still remains committing an error, the step will be checked as incomplete, and then the teacher steps in to complete the step without the student observing. So the student would turn either to the side or look away, or the teacher would get in the way of them observing the step. Because it's key here that the student is not learning from the teacher or the job coach. The student is learning from the device, from the iPad, which is the intervention. So when using the picture scheduler application to teach skill acquisition, there are a few limitations. When making smoothies, it was most helpful to display the iPad on a sturdy iPad stand. For any task requiring gloves, the student would need to use a stylus instead of their finger for obvious reasons to navigate the app on the iPad. Although the text is large and the videos are paired with audio prompts, those with visual impairments may have difficulty. When using the app, there's also an occasional app glitch, like the app would suddenly close, but I didn't really experience that a lot when I was using it. And we've been collecting data for quite a few days now. Brianna's in our room with us, and she's been helping me. And we really didn't have any difficulties with the app. So I think all's well. Peter probably took off most of the bugs. Would like to ask me any questions, and I would be happy to send everybody a copy of today's presentation with the audio. Please take down my email and let me know that you would like a copy, and then I'll be happy to do so. We also have on our website availability of this recording, so you can access it that way as well, but I will lead you to that, and maybe sending you an email with the copy is the easiest. Again, my name is Carrie Morse. I'm the Adult Services Coordinator at the Else for Autism Foundation in Jupiter, Florida, and I really loved having you all attend with me this afternoon or whatever time it is